And on the 8th day, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need a caretaker. So God made a farmer.
Howdy folks, Darren back with you, Cross Timbers Farm. Welcome to 8th Day Chronicles. Glad to have you with us on this beautiful early summer day. We are fixing to start our first cut for 2024. I know, it's about 4 weeks, going on almost 5 weeks behind schedule. We could not do anything about the weather. The weather this spring and early summer has been one of the wettest and rainiest that I can remember in a long time. It has put our hay cutting schedule and our plans for 2024 hay season well behind the 8 ball, and there's nothing we can do about that. This is the day the Lord hath made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. It's a sunshiny day. We're going to cut hay this evening. We had some very wicked storms blow through our area yesterday evening and last night. When I got up this morning, you can maybe see some of it. A lot of our hay was blown almost flat. I did see a report from a farmer in our neighboring county, which is only about 20 miles away to their farm, that yesterday evening during those storms they had torrential downpours and hail. We had the downpours, but we did not get any hail, thank you Lord. They reported that the hail was so bad at their place that it destroyed 2 of their hoop houses and a greenhouse and flattened a lot of their crops, and prayers for them to recover. We escaped that. All we got was heavy rains and some pretty stiff winds. We had rain this morning, and pretty significant rain this morning. So the sun's out now. It's about 2 p.m. and the sun's been out for about an hour. The rain and rainy weather in that last storm last night and this morning is moving out. The wind is pushing, the front's pushing it out with that wind. Good for our hay. The wind's helping dry it up some from all that rain yesterday and this morning. And now we are almost ready to cut hay. We have the drum mower out hooked up. We are going to give the sun and this breeze as long as it can to try to dry some of this hay. This hay is so thick and so tall and so past prime. It's very steamy, but it's so tall and so thick that the wind and the sun in just a matter of 4 or 5 hours is only going to do so much to dry it out. But we're going to try to cut hay this afternoon, late this evening. We're behind the 8 ball. We had hoped to get 3 to 4 cuttings off of our test plot this year. That may not happen now. We are so late in the season, and we could do nothing about that. The rains came, and they came, and they came, and they came, putting us way behind. But we're going to salvage everything we can and keep going forward. So we're going to cut this hay this afternoon, our test plot, and probably our main hay field. Usually our main hay field's about 2 weeks behind in the growth stage of our test plot, but we've had to wait so long, they're both past prime now. The test plot especially, but our main hay field is gotten steamy. All the orchard and fescue and timothy and clover, well, the clover will be a little different, that's a legume, but our grasses are all already in the late seed head stage. One positive from this, there is so much seed head on everything that's flowered out and dried out that when we cut this, it's going to knock a lot of it off into our field. It's going to seed itself, so that's one positive. But stick with us. We're going to give this sun just a little bit longer, and then we're going to fire up the Kubota and the Maxx FDM-135 drum mower, and we're going to start mowing hay. slight change in plans. We was all set up to cut our test plot first, and that field is so thick. There's not a lot of it. It's about 4/10 of an acre, not even a full half acre, and it can be cut pretty quick. But that field, the grass in it is so thick that we're going to wait as long as we can. The sun that we've had out since about 11:30 this morning is drying this hay, the ground out. The main hay field in places is almost as thick, and in other places it's not as near as thick, it's thinner. It'll dry out faster, the ground. When I'm talking about how wet the ground is, we had a lot of rain yesterday and last night and this morning. The ground is really damp and wet, so we're gonna cut the field that will dry the fastest because it's not quite as thick. Our main hay fields, generally speaking, grows 2 to 3 weeks behind the test plot, just because of this exposure. This back here is a northwest exposure, and it doesn't grow as early and as fast as that southern exposure side of our farm. So we're going to cut back here first. It's past time to cut. It is what it is. It's steamy hay. It's past prime, but we're going to play the hand that the good Lord has dealt us, and we're going to smile and make the best of it. So we're getting ready to start cutting this main hay field. So here we go. We're going to explain what we're doing. We're going to make one trip around the hay field with our mower to the outside to cut along the edges. And then after we've got one complete trip around, we'll turn the tractor around, and all the rest of the hay field will be mowed in that direction, with the tractor over where it's already been mowed and the mower over on the untouched hay. The Kubota and the Farm Maxx is running good. I'm down to about 1/8 of a tank. Time to refuel. This hay's a lot thicker than I thought it was. There it goes. One of these days I'm going to have to buy me a pump, a fuel tank and a pump, so I can quit using these old jugs. They're a pain in the butt for your fuel tanks on the top like this one. But that's a minor inconvenience for a good tractor. Boy, this hay's thick in places and thin in places. Way down toward our bottom, it's a little thin, but man, up in here, it's thick. The ground's finally drying out a little bit. We're adding about 5 gallons. And I'm mowing in high range first gear. When I first started out, I noticed the drum mower bogging down a little bit when I'd hit some really thick places. And I tightened up the belt drive a little bit. I think the belts when I was hitting some really thick stuff was slipping. So I tightened up the belts a little bit. It's run perfect sense. Diesel fuel is still high. All right, we're refueled, and we're gonna keep mowing. We're gonna finish our main hay field and then head to the test plot. Hopefully it'll be dried up by then.